increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@PlusTvAfrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
A new daily COVID-19 breakfast on Plus TV Africa. I am Justin Akadonye. I will take a quick break and return with more. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome. It's Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime. Nimasa This Week is brought to you by the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. Statutorily mandated to ensure that there is regulation and promotion of matters affecting our waters. Nimasa bears responsibility for search and rescue, shipping development, and ship registration.
Nimasa This Week, the voice of maritime, showing on this channel.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamode Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamode Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
In raising our kids, parents should stop playing God.
The internet is actually using the...
Join us every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. on Plus TV Africa, DSTV channel 408.
All right, welcome back. It's still the breakfast on Plus TV Africa. Mercy, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Justin. It's good to be with you.
Yes, it's a great weekend, and I'm sure a whole lot of people actually bracing up for the fun ahead, and of course the relaxation for the weekend. We'll be starting with top trending, and one of the stories in the news right now is no promotion for erring judges. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Tanko Mohammed, has actually announced that judges who had been given conflicting judgments and rulings on
laws as what's actually, a major challenge for us. Now, if you remember vividly, it was within a week that you had different court orders, from the one from Kebbi and then Rivers State and also Cross River State. Now, do you want to talk about the National Judiciary of, what's it called, the NJC now?
The Judicial
Council. Okay, apart from the fact that, the council has a responsibility of advising the president and governors, they also have a responsibility of disciplinary function.
Yeah, they do.
And that's what it is. So it is quite commendable, the fact that this should serve as a deterrent. It should serve as a deterrent to other judges and to everyone in the practitioner. Because we can't constantly just wake up. It threw the country into a serious commotion and confusion. And a lot of persons were totally, concerned about the fact that how can this come from, the judiciary. Now, the function of a judiciary in a democratic dispensation can never be disputed. I mean, you talk about the fact that they interpret the law, interpretation of the law. They also tells us and protect groups and people, from the government. So you can't be the one, giving different orders when you understand what the law says and, acting contrary. So yes, I think it's a step in the right direction, the fact that this punishment has been put out. And I hope that it serves as a deterrent to every other person, in the judiciary.
Yes, it is a welcome development, Miss. I couldn't agree more, because as some of these judges, they end up causing more than chaos to the judicial system in Nigeria. Not just the judges themselves, sometimes even the lawyers, they tend to make the matter, or the matters worse when they know there has been maybe at a better time. All right, another story trending right now is the Chinese government is actually sending investigation experts to help Nigeria in its fight against insurgency, insecurity generally. Mercy, this was a fallout of an agreement. Times there is the need for international aid and help, and the Chinese government is actually stepping up, to send some of their experts to Nigeria. A lot of people have greeted that particular, development with mixed reactions. Some say that it is a welcome development. Others are saying that, there may be some clause to it. If the Chinese government is bringing their experts, what's the need for them, really?
Exactly the question, because we also need to understand the politics that happens outside, when nations come together. You always need to understand that everyone would want to represent their interests. Mm-hmm. And so China would not just wake up and be interested, in Nigeria's security. Did we invite them? First of all, and when you say you're a sovereign nation, it means that you have, you have gotten to the level where you can solve your problems without any, interference. Right. So being a sovereign nation, being the fact that we have security concern, these are internal issues. I don't know if we understand that we know. We know exactly what the problems are. We understand the dynamics. They're just not, it's not just, it's not just limited to a particular, if you want to begin to categorize the issues around. So the issues are, internal issues. And whether or not we have, all of these experts come from wherever, we're going to bring the best brains and bring all of them. When it comes to implementation, it comes to doing, so we have them train the officers. Until we do what we ought to do, it won't change anything. So it's okay to say, yes, we're coming to have this expert exchange knowledge. Yeah, that's good. That's applaudable. Who would be implementing them? The Nigerian police, the Nigerian army, or what have you, the security agencies. As long as, because it's the same thing as saying you could read something, you could have information and you do contrary to what you have. So the problem is not about, the information. I think that we have what it takes to take care of our security concerns. Yes, I know that some people would not want to agree with that and say, okay, in terms of in terms of weapons, we depend so much on. We had all of that, military. The sanction on Nigeria. They withdrew all of the might. So all of the countries that gave support, military support and weaponry and all, they withdrew it. And that's what happens when your dependency is so much on this country for almost everything. But it boils down to the fact that whether or not we bring, I don't even know what to call it. I don't even say bring
intelligence.
As much as we are the ones implementing it, because we'll see these things are not going to be implemented. The arrest. I mean, we've talked about the fact that we have identified the persons who have sponsored. It's not like we said states, joint efforts, and what have you. So why aren't we arresting? So if we have China now come with their intelligence and their experts and their professionals.
What would they do differently?
When they're gone, does it mean that we'll now start effecting arrests?
Well, I think in my opinion, the best thing, basically, when they talk about China coming to support us, it's as though we're actually just leaving ourselves to the mercy of the Asian world. Whatever they bring to us, we just accept, and hopefully we might get the solutions that we need. But I don't think that's the way to go about it. We'll leave that for a bit now. We'll talk about the final top trending. It actually makes me laugh. I am laughing right now, but some group of people or some resident from some Asian countries would not be able to laugh. You're even laughing.
It's possible not to laugh. But,
for 11 days, mercy.
It's possible not to laugh. I mean, if you live in that country, so let me put it back to you. If you were in South Korea now, North Korea, I beg your pardon. If you were in North Korea, tell me that you would not obey that law.
Mercy. Some laws, I don't know, will be hard to obey.
No.
Because I don't know. So would you continue just to be in perpetual sadness just
no,
because
the truth with
died?
North Korea
Yes.
is the fact that they have stringent laws. I mean, it's a totalitarian nation.
It's crazy.
And so you have crime to make calls. There are too many unusual laws, international call in North Korea. In 2007, if I'm not mistaken, a man was actually executed for that. Women are not even allowed to drive. I don't know if that has actually changed. There are too many issues. There are several laws. You're not allowed to listen to foreign music. You're not allowed to, wear jeans. You're not allowed to.
So
there was a time
they're
where
just existed. They're not even living as it is.
And that's why at some point, so you need to take a breather and begin to appreciate democracy. Some people have argued that democracy is not the best form of government, and I will always say that as the worst form of democracy that you would have ever, it is way better than
your freedoms.
Is way better than living in a system. You're not even allowed access to the internet. You know that they don't have access to the internet, and those people who have access to internet are just a select few, and that is highly monitored. So they don't have access to internet, no mobile phone connection, and even if they do have all of that, so I'm entirely not surprised that there's been a ban. The death of the leader of North Korea is asleep while he's making a speech. So you're in a meeting and you're dozing off. You know how many persons would have been dead in Nigeria? Sometimes we watch them on TV, even in the National Assembly, they're dozing off, while they're having serious conversation and deliberating and making laws. Too many people would have been dead. But you see, it's time for us to sit back and appreciate the fact that we're in a democratic dispensation, as horrible as we think it is, but it's better than any. And it works. So our feeling is weird right now. Our feeling is strange.
Yes, it is weird.
Yeah, the feeling is because
the fact that I can laugh.
No, the reason you're feeling that it's strange and weird is because you don't live there. We practice a different kind of, democracy. And that's why, we practice democracy, not a different kind. So that's a system where, there are draconian laws, is a totalitarian, military, authoritarian kind of government. And that's what is expected. So you see, for those who would always advocate that kind of law, you don't even want to say it. I mean, my parents and my grandparents who lived, during that era.
They lived in North Korea?
No, not in North Korea.
Oh, okay, wow.
I probably would have been in North Korea by now. I'm just saying.
You would not be laughing right now.
No, I will still laugh.
Yes, you would not laugh.
You can still hide under the pillow.
You will not laugh. You will not even try.
No, maybe you probably can't laugh in the public. Nobody will be there to see you when you're laughing. You could probably still laugh in your house, except nobody have to snitch on you. Maybe somebody goes out and say you were laughing or take a picture. And, okay, they don't have access to phone, so how do I take a picture?
It is really strange. I can't imagine.
I'm not surprised. Like I've just mentioned,
I can't laugh. For those who actually take alcoholic and beverages, they can't. Some people actually.
No, but it's very also close in Nigeria. I mean, if you go to the northern part of Nigeria, also find out that alcohol beverage is not patronized.
I know that, but the part of not laughing.
So how do you explain the fact that there are other laws?
We're back with Off the Press, and Jide Johnson will be joining us in a minute. Don't go away.
Welcome back to The Breakfast on PlusTvAfrica. Time for Off the Press. As usual, we'll take you through the pages of our dailies as being made available and would have Jide Johnson join the conversation. Jide Johnson, it's good to have you join us this Friday morning.
Good morning, Nancy. Justin.
Good morning to you.
All right, let's start off with the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. And looking at the front pages of the Daily Trust, let's find out what big stories we have on the Daily Trust newspaper. The banner caption reads, Auditor General uncovers multi-billion naira fraud in National Assembly. Auditor General uncovers multi-billion naira fraud in National Assembly. 3 billion in Senate, 5.5 billion in House. It's shocking lawmakers are breaking the laws. Father, who is saying all of that? These are riders you find underneath the caption. It brings us back to the conversation. Those who should uphold the laws, the ones breaking the law.
That's I just shook my head, when you said that multi-billion naira fraud. Well, let's just move ahead.
Why APC convention should postpone February. I take that again. Why APC should postpone February convention. That's what Carlos quoted to say. Explain source of your wealth. Adebanjo tells Akonde and Tunumbu. Lack of trust, major challenge in COVID-19 vaccination. Sultan is also quoted on that. You also have Bichi Emirate holds special prayer today. And why we gave Buhari's son title, Emir of Daura. Quite interesting. These are some of the headlines you find on the Daily Trust newspaper.
Away from that, we move on to the Daily Independent. And party politics, $800 million to the poor. All right, that's on the Daily Independent. On the red strip below the page, stake or shareholders approve Access Bank's transformation to holding company. Jonathan Lawan Sonwolu celebrate Buhari at 79. Insecurity may affect 2023 election. Jega former INEC chair. APC chairmanship not a do or die affair. Yari Al-Makura and Akume. 2022 privatization of public health facilities will cripple sector. That's according to the MHWN. Provisions of customs bill will paralyze free trade zone, according to Nigerian Export Promotion Zone. The Adebanjo challenges Akonde Tinubu to disclose sources of wealth. NJC bars 3 judges from promotion over
several riders. Malami's office sent its position 2 weeks ago, says Minister of Justice source. Constitution of parties stipulates direct or indirect amendment will be difficult. Now, these are the riders underneath, and that issue is back again on the front pages of our dailies. Buhari snubs calls to visit North and jets out to Turkey with wife and 7 ministers. NJC sanctioned 3 judges for conflicting rulings, 1 on watch list. And you also have fans suspend workers. It's also another caption you find. And still looking at the page of the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. Salary deductions. Fighting monarchs costs you election, not rigging. Find out who's saying all of that when you check out this page. Lawan Bajabiamila Ngige orders hail Buhari at 79. And you also have a more interesting caption. Hoodlums arrested for kidnapping that we can take on. Just before we move away, governors vow to review federal government's proposed privatization of 10 power plants. That's it on the Punch newspaper this morning.
And the last story on our tables this morning is The Guardian. Consensus hope dims for amended electoral bill with several riders. Buhari departs Abuja for Turkey Africa Summit returns on deadline day. Lawmakers proceed to on Yuletide recess. Turkey trip stalls National Assembly leaders' last effort to save amended bill. Fate of Ekiti Osun governorship polls hangs over stalemate. All right, more stories. NHIS canvasses 1 kobo per second telecoms charge for health coverage of vulnerable Nigerians. Lagos indebted to retirees by over 30 billion naira, says pensioners chair. Emir decries 50% of land taken over by terrorists, warns of food crisis. Court orders arrest of Imo Deputy Speaker over alleged 75 million naira fraud. And finally, Nigeria at war, SBM report reveals. Those are some of the stories you can find on the front page of The Guardian this Friday morning.
All right, let's have Jide Johnson.
In the Senate, 5.5 to be gatekeeper that are meant to be watchdog within this will come out of it. But they decide to approve money to be spent because their basic responsibility is lawmaking. When it comes to cover the type of corruption that has taken place in the National Assembly, that's why most of them want to die. Most of them want to die in office. And as soon as they get elected into the House of Rep or they get elected into the Senate, they don't come back home again. They remain in Abuja. In view of, I've challenged them, let the Speaker of the House of Rep, let him travel from Abuja to Lagos without the paraphernalia of security. And let the Senate President, that is from Yobe, let him travel to Yobe. See what will come out of it. Until we are serious about dealing with this issue, the issue of insecurity will not continue. They will continue to provide private security for them. They will provide private life for them themselves. They will provide everything that will meet their comfort for them. Until we put ourselves on a red list, I don't think we are ready to make progress. We shouldn't power any government office that have elected public officials with generator. We shouldn't power their official residence with generator. We shouldn't, which is education and mobilization, this can be dealt with. So if it's trust, it's perception, and perception can be changed where their role should come in. And they shouldn't be collecting 5% of the money that goes to the local government without them having any work to do. I think that responsibility will be very, very useful. But nevertheless, a public health issue.
GF writes Buhari says mandatory.
He said it over time, the assembly legislating on the extension of their own tenure because they have the power of lawmaking. The fact that you have power of making laws does not give you absolute power to make any laws, responsible and irresponsible laws. To make laws that's an overreach. We have said it, that the National Assembly trying to make laws on how political parties should conduct themselves is an overreach because in the first instance, there won't be National Assembly without the political parties. It is the political parties that sponsor candidates to seek election. And once you win the election, you become part of the executive or you become part of the judiciary. So as far as I'm concerned, I agree with the Attorney General, unfortunately for the first time, that assembly members leave each party to run its own. Lawmakers threatens to conduct their primary should not. The alliance between the presidency
orders emanate
most time justice, spirit of the law. Now, both must be in tandem. What the law is saying. So you are meant to interpret what the law is saying. You are not meant to input your own personal opinion into what the law is saying with respect to any particular issue or dispute that is brought before you. Beyond putting those people on watch list, I think that those people should be sanctioned because the sanction should be until we are there, we demand them to come up with those of them that are parading. People just insult that activity because they are well. What are the sources of their wealth? How rich was Tinubu in 1999? How rich was? If they are not bold enough to tell us how they make money, why should we ask it? And they said it does not collect government contract. It does not do this. It is his money. Can you just tell IRS? And then if you collect contract, you don't collect contract. This democracy